Hello! This is now the third time I am recording myself and this introduction, and I don't even know if it's gonna be the one I used because I already recorded like an hour long introduction to put on YouTube, and wow, this is already kind of a learning curve. Like, I don't really know how to use Audacity, and though there are videos on YouTube probably about using Audacity, I'm not entirely sure it would include importing files that are not really what Audacity is designed to import, or like voiceovers. Like probably these things are on YouTube, but I'm kind of tired. I don't really have the brain capacity to do that right now, and I really just want to get this done. Not that I'm like not wanting to share this with you guys. Actually, I really want to share this. I want to get it out there. I want to get this started. But you know, when you start something new, sometimes you just want to get it started and you skip a few steps. And I'm not saying you should skip these steps, or I should skip these steps, but that's what I'm doing. I'm doing crazy things lately. Like, alright, let's get to, you know, the actual reason of this video. How about that? Right? This is an introduction to me, to what I want this channel to be, to all the crazy things I mentioned that I'm doing. So we'll start. Right now the channel is called Crawkid. I am looking to change that because I am a 27-year-old woman going by a name Crawkid. You know, I have an online life. I don't want to always be called, you know, a name with the word kid in it. It's kind of awkward. It's getting really awkward. So we'll see where I go with that. I'm looking towards like Crawdult, just to keep the pun going, because it was a pun that started my name in the first place. So the starting point. I am kind of a small town girl in Michigan. There's not much up here for me. I've pretty much used my resources to go through the community college, which is a pretty good community college, and I feel like I satisfied some social expectations. I went through high school like I was supposed to, and I went through college like I was supposed to, and I graduated, which is like the minimum, I guess, for being a successful person. But I graduated with a degree in welding. So that's interesting, I guess. Lots of people seem to be interested when I tell them, hey, I'm a woman, but I'm also a welder. So there's not much here. I think every once in a while, a young adult or an adult, but I think we come across those times where we're like, there's nothing here for me. Or there is something here for me, but it's not enough. It's not enough to spend the next 50, 60, 70 years. You know, if I manage to live 100 years, that'd be great. But a possible 70 years here, and there's not enough to consider that. I hit that point a while ago. I've just been kind of, I guess, procrastinating I am a horrible procrastinator, but even knowing that I need to get out there before I get too old and complacent and just used to where I'm living, I need to get out there. I need to travel more. I did do some traveling, just a little bit. The occasional visit to family via the Greyhound bus. Well, the point is, I need to get out there. And I have a place to go. I do. We're going from Michigan down to Tennessee, where I won't really have the safety nets that I'm used to. The fact that dad is, just down the street, mom is some towns over, but still in the same portion of the state, And I won't have the friends that I have spent years being with and developing that relationship with, and they know who I am, they understand my faults, they work with my faults, I work with their faults, the usual thing of a friendship that you have had for a decade or two. And wow, I am like an honorary aunt to the child of one of my friends, and I was like, wow, there's still not much for me here. I could just be that person that sticks around, does whatever people need of me, and I be that cool aunt, but I want to be the cool aunt. I want to be even cooler. No, yeah, kind of. But I want to be more of myself. I want to go and explore and do things that I want to do, other than sit here in front of my computer being on the internet, because the internet is more interesting than the town around me. And that's kind of really a problem. The internet is an amazing thing, but if you sit in front of your computer for 12 or more hours out of your day because your living situation is just that boring, I think that means you need to leave and do something new. And around here, there's not much to do. There's not much to do that doesn't involve money, and I don't have much money. So, I am down, as I was saying, down in Tennessee. I have a boyfriend for 4 years. We met online, but he has come up to meet me every year, and I've just kind of been the tour guide. For my boyfriend. This is how he spends his summer. He spends his vacation time going across multiple states to see me for a week. And that's his vacation. And yeah, I know there has to be some serious love for him to do that and spend that money and that time just to kind of come see me for a week. And that makes the relationship hard, I'm sure. So, besides not having much here, I do have a boyfriend. I need to go to my boyfriend and where he lives, where he has a job, where he has friends. Not many, because he's the quiet type, but, he has a life. And I don't really have much of a life. I don't have much of a life here. I sit in front of my computer, I learn things, I watch YouTube, I budget, I plan things like the garden space, which, right now, I'm just kind of starting. My dad is just kind of starting. Like a week or two ago, I got the itch and I brought Dad outside and we turned the soil and took out all the roots, which was several days of work just because I had other things to do to prepare to move. And the weather was still cold, so I would spend 2 hours out there and then spend the rest of my day doing something else. So I'll go down there. I'll deal with honestly not having anyone else. Maybe help his mom with the scrap business while I get my feet on the ground. I'll have to have a way to get mail sent to the house, get all my ID stuff, because I don't have a driver's license, because I'm afraid of driving. Kind of. I'm more afraid of dealing with all the crazy people on the streets in driving. You can only see so many crashes and pileups before, or almost get run over before you're like, maybe I don't want to deal with that. Or also, it was expensive at the time, and I was more focused on my studies and probably gymnastics in high school when they offered classes on driver's ed. So there's that. Oh goodness. Where was I going with this? I don't know. But I have that. And oh yeah, getting my ID and why I don't have a driver's license. Well, I'll have to get my ID, and then I'll have to try and get a job there, kind of like whatever entry-level welding jobs they have there. I might have to do that, which is alright. Also, there's the military option. I am not 30 or 35 yet whenever the military stops taking people. I have a little bit of time to get in shape, which I can do now that it's not winter, because apparently I can't lose weight during the winter. So now it's a kind of a rush to get things ready, to get rid of some of my possessions, to put things in storage, to donate, which is part of getting rid of my possessions, to pack, to make sure that my host family is ready for me to be there. Because if they're not ready, that's going to cause stress, and then I'm going to feel guilty that I put that stress on them and that I can't hold my own weight. And it's just, it's not something I want to go into, which is part of why I wanted to have a job, a guaranteed job before I went there, because I didn't want to be a leech. And darn it, I don't have a guaranteed job. I have an almost guaranteed job, and that's just because welders are in high demand. And I'm pretty good at learning fast, so even though I've gotten rusty, if I manage to get my hands on a welding machine soon-ish, probably gonna have to ask Dad or his friends for that. If I can get my hands on a welding machine soonish, then I should be able to practice. It won't take long, maybe half an hour to an hour of practice, and I should be back, because honestly, that's just how I work, I guess. Let's see. Besides the scrapping business, besides possible welding job, I am contacting some YouTubers actually, because I've been watching homesteading YouTube videos. First, because there's a lot of green in some of these homestead videos, and I like to garden, and it was like near the end of winter where you're like, wow, winter can just not be here anymore. I would be happy for all the snow to be gone, all the frost to be gone, all the dull gray colors that are in nature that can just go away. I want green. I want vitality and well, lately the birds have been chirping, so that's good. And the squirrels are out. And the geese are back. But wow, if you guys could just see the difference between what we have now, the spring that we're just now getting into, and the greenery of Tennessee. It is. I'm so envious. And the growing season is longer there, and Dad says with a little bit of work, I'll be able to grow things like the entire year. And I cannot tell you how happy I would be to have something growing 365 days out of the year. But back to homestead. Back to the homestead video. So I found some homestead videos. They're nice, they're green, they're beautiful. I collected a few of them to watch, and I subscribed to a few of them because the personalities are just so great in some of these, and you can see the love that they have for what they're doing, and wow, so many of the homestead YouTubers are interconnected, and you can just like they so what I'm learning is homesteaders are a whole bunch of geeks about growing things and, you know, trying to do things for themselves, which is great. I like that kind of stuff. I think it's beautiful to watch the sparkle in someone's eye when they're like, oh, I got myself a new variegated tomato plant because of course you did. You love tomato plants and you just can't pass up variegated things. I'm calling you out, Jess. Hi. or like Justin Rhodes, Rhodes. He was like, oh, I have this idea for a chickshaw, which is like a rickshaw, but for chickens. And we're gonna do this. There's gonna be like no fence, and it's not gonna be any problems because they're all gonna be under this chickshaw thing. And well, it kind of flopped the first time, but I saw progress there, and it's a very interesting idea because I like the idea of free-range chickens. Mostly because I like the idea of having my little farmhouse and the chickens running around. And I personally love the sound of a rooster's crow. And then the idea of, I'll get up in the morning, I'll let the chickens out, and then I'll steal their eggs and have eggs, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because you can't stop me from having eggs. And yeah, you'll have to wake up every single morning, regardless of weather, and you'll have to let the chickens out. But I feel like, I could sort of muscle memory my way through that. Like, yeah, I might not want to get up, but it's not like I have to do math first thing in the morning, which, if you've ever not been the mathematician type, and you haven't gotten your coffee in the morning, and the first thing someone does is like ask you about taxes or the week budget, or hey, we gotta go shopping for food. What do we need? And you gotta just know. But it's not math. It's just putting on the bare minimum amount of clothes for the weather, so you're not freezing your butt off. Go over there and open a door. Open a door. Pour some feed into some sort of container. Maybe wipe the water container. Make sure it's full. Make sure that you close, if you have a fenced-in area, close the fence behind you. Just, it's probably a pain in the ass just because of the repetition of having to roll yourself out of the bed, and you gotta do this. Like, you can't really sleep in. That would be a pain. I do sometimes like to sleep, but chickens, and if I love chickens so much, I probably would be able to dealing with the chickens, cause chickens and eggs, and chickens and eggs is yeah, it's great. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I watched some homestead videos, and they're great, and I'm going to reach out to someone. I actually wrote a letter to one of them, and I haven't sent it yet, but I wrote it, and I will be doing that, and postage like 55 cents, and I can, as little money as I get and as much as I penny pinch, I can afford 55 cents. Although, I guess I'll have to increase that to $1.10, because as soon as these other people here, as soon as they get a P.O. box, I am sending them mail too. So I've talked about the homestead channels and I guess how much I like them. I haven't told you their names though, and that's wow. Okay, so the first one is Roots and Refuge, which is the call out I did earlier. Her name is Jess, and she's got a husband, and they're adorable and friendly, and you can just tell that they love the life they have, which is great. It's fairly inspirational. It's a great little boost of sunshine in the morning, or I get out of bed, and they have a video because maybe I didn't actually wake up in the morning. Maybe I woke up at like 1 p.m. But even if I wake up at 10 a.m., a lot of times they will have a video. And I was like, yes! Get a cup of water, put on a video of Roots and Refuge, and just kind of wake up to a nice screen full of green cheeriness and sunshine. Unless something bad happened, and then you go, oh no. Well, I'm sorry, Jess. I'm sorry that you have to go through some heartbreak. And heartbreak really is part of homesteading. And it's not a part I'm looking forward to. I wouldn't know anyone who would look forward to heartbreak. But I'm thinking it might be worth it. And maybe seeing, it's kind of morbid, but maybe seeing death would be good for me. Maybe because I had a pigeon. I wouldn't know if I would call him a pet, but I had a pigeon because I found him on the side of the street, or huddled up against a building, and I noticed he did not fly away from me, which isn't all that unusual because pigeons sometimes get audacious here. Like, yeah, they don't always fly away from you. They'll just walk a little faster away from you. Like, even from cars, even if they're in the middle of the street, they'll just walk a little faster. Kind of annoying, but like, what are you gonna, like, what kind of argument could you have? Because they did get out of the way, they didn't get hurt, and technically they used as little calories as possible to get to safety, which is a smart thing to do. It's still kind of irritating. But I had this pigeon, and I tried to fix it. But this pigeon had a broken wing, but he's a wild animal, so he didn't really let us fix him. So he would flap his broken wing, and then it'd get even worse. And so it came to the point we threw him outside. We didn't actually throw him, but there's a point where you, even though you want to keep trying, you just gotta stop. There's nothing you can do, and keep trying sometimes just makes the situation worse, and that's painful, but sometimes it just makes it worse because you don't have the equipment or the knowledge or the personality even sometimes to be the one to help the situation. But we stuck this pigeon outside, and it was like an hour later. This pigeon that had been fighting us the entire time, that made it impossible to help him. This pigeon, he came back up to our porch and just sat in the doorway. I said, well, okay then, we'll just bring him back inside. And we prepared a cage for him, and well, his wing never really actually recovered. But it's funny because it healed enough to where it wouldn't, just snap and bleed. But he couldn't really fly long distances either. But we had cats, and we did pay attention. We did, supervise, but we would let the pigeon out into the living room because we took a wild animal, and this bird cage isn't the biggest bird cage in the world. So we let him out into the living room. We supervised him, made sure the cats did not, leap out of nowhere and kill him. But when they, that thing with the cats, they come close, slowly, head on, and they reach their little paw out, and they want to bat you. Well, or bat whatever they're playing with, or wondering if it's prey. Well, it would happen, and this bird would just slap him in the face, no, don't you dare get close enough to me to do anything. So, after a while, we trusted this bird. Yeah. The cats got the idea that this bird can kick their butts, and it was amazing. But it didn't turn out all that great. See, the bird I thought was male because it was a very pretty bird, and it had the rainbow feathers around its neck, the way it shined and stuff. I forget the word for it. I thought that would be just for male pigeons because male birds are usually much prettier and show-offy than females, so. But it turned out to be a female. They would lay eggs, and I didn't really have any experience with egg-laying birds, and I might have neglected calcium. We did have rocks and pebbles that we would feed the pigeon. I think maybe I didn't give as much as I should have, and I didn't think to buy normal bird supplies because we already had newspaper and a water dish and, well, I bought bird seed. I did, and then I also bought gravel. Um, but it was like really fine gravel, so it probably didn't help much. Um, yeah, well, what happened anyways was the bird kept laying eggs and basically depleted their calcium through the act of laying their eggs and died, and I felt bad about that. It was like months later that I was doing some random research because that's what I do. I research topics, I learn about them, I love just learning things, and I found out about milk fever. I think it was about dogs. I first learned about milk fever. Like, you gotta give your dogs extra calcium, because they will sometimes get overfed by their litter. Well, not overfed, but their litter will milk them to the point where her body will be struggling to provide milk enough for the litter, which means that calcium's got to come from somewhere, and usually it will just. So the point is, you got to give your dogs, you got to give your milking, your animals that are producing milk or eggs, as it turns out, extra calcium. And that's the sad story I learned, but I learned something from it. I learned about, like, that because that happened, I made the connection that maybe birds have a version of milk fever, which would be whatever the name is for using up too much calcium to lay eggs. I also learned that pigeons will lay eggs unfertilized like chickens, although only for a much shorter period of time. So what I'm saying is, death is sad. Failure is even worse, but at least in death and failure, you learn something, and you'll get just that little bit better if you try again. And if you want success, you will try again. Actually, something Justin Rhodes says, and I don't know if I included him in this particular recording, but Justin Rhodes, Rhodes, is a homestead YouTuber, and he said something that I think he got. I don't know if he is the one that made the quote or if he got the quote from somewhere else, but he said, the more success you have, the more failure you will have. And it's just like, he set up a farm really quick. He got all sorts of animals, but each animal had its own trials, and the chickens had a few trials. He lost some chickens. He lost some, guinea hens. And he definitely had a huge loss with some lambs that he was raising, because apparently wet grass holds parasites for lambs, or at least in that area they do, and they didn't really know how bad it was, and took pretty much their entire flock, which luckily was really just 6 lambs, I believe. It was, no, it was probably 5 lambs, because 3 died, and then they were left with the 2, before they decided to just kill them and harvest their meat. But I'm sure Justin has learned some important lessons from that. And that's about all the good news you can get from a death, is that you learned something. Or from a failure. I should just limit it to failure, but since it's about homesteading, many failures actually lead to death. And that is the risk you take. So I hit on Roots and Refuge and Justin Rhodes. I have not made effort to contact Justin Rhodes yet, but he is a YouTuber that I follow on the subject of homesteading because, well, it's interesting. He constantly tries new things, and so does his kids and his wife, and it's always interesting to watch them try new things and try to figure out how to make their life that much easier and that much more prosperous. The third one, if I haven't already mentioned them, the third one is Hollar Homestead, Hollar, and they're interesting and kind of relevant because they lived in California and they sold all their belongings and basically traveled all the United States in search of a place where they could set down and start a homestead, hopefully for the rest of their lives and maybe their children's. So they recently actually got a property in North Carolina. Congrats, guys! I'll have to send them mail soon-ish, as soon as they get a P.O. box. You see, this is the frustrating and confusing part about having to learn all this stuff and having to do all these voiceovers and or videos, because you don't know which recording you said what part. And maybe that's why I should have notes here, but I don't have notes. I thought my first recording would work. I would edit it out and stick it with a picture, and that would work. As it turns out, Audacity is, well, not just Audacity, but the other audio recording thing is giving me a little bit of trouble. Well, I just realized that the upload for Roots and Refuge will be probably late because she's speaking at a Baker Creek kind of expo, and, well, they're a seed company that is apparently awesome that I haven't checked out yet, which I'll have to get to maybe next year. See if there's a Baker Creek near Chattanooga. That'd be cool. What did I do? Like, say, I tried to introduce myself. I said what this is about, a little bit about my plans. I think I shouted out to all 3 YouTubers that really are probably gonna be part of, well, if I'm going to be, like, optimistic, 3 YouTubers that might be part of my new life going forward. I would really like to start a homestead food forest sort of thing, but we'll see. We will see if I get that far. I do know some people who contact now, if they'll actually be in contact. because networking is a thing, and do not underestimate the power of networking. And but I don't know. Just don't assume that it'll work, because personally, I think maybe people might have an issue if you contact them or use them just to try and get in contact with someone else. Like, but at the same time, you get told all the time, network, network, network. You need to make contacts in order to really go after what you want. But I don't know. It's a crazy thing. I'm just kind of diving off this sort of board, hoping that there'll be enough opportunities to really catch me, and maybe I'll float. The fear is that I won't be able to float, but I think I'm starting to believe maybe I'll be fine. Maybe I will be fine. That's what I got. But hey, if you guys don't mind, like, watching a train wreck or a possible train wreck, and you want to, like, get some updates on someone doing something crazy, like just dropping everything and moving to a different state, maybe keep in touch. Maybe like the video, even though it's just probably a picture with a voiceover. There we go, with a voiceover, and maybe tell people, like, oh my god, for some reason I'm interested in this, and we'll see, like, subscribe. I guess I welcome you to subscribe to my channel, to follow this train wreck as long as you would like. But please do subscribe to these 3 other people I've mentioned. At least if you're interested in homesteading or just gardening, or if you're here to watch the train wreck, never mind. I was gonna say check out Hollar Homestead, because they're doing, or they did something similar, I guess, to what I'm doing, except I'm much less prepared and I'm doing much less traveling. But I will tell you that as of this moment, their journey ends with them having a property, and I'm sure they're very excited, and I'm happy for them that they went through all of what they did and ended up with basically what they wanted. From here on out, it's just going to be kind of work, to get the house ready, to get the land ready, to grow things, grow food, grow plants, animals. And so I guess that's the end of this video. I can't think of anything more to say. I think continuing to talk would be repetitive, and also I am coming up on the 40. I'm past 48 minutes on this recording, this raw recording here, and maybe that's a bit long for an introduction. Not as long as my hour-long first recording, but that's because there's just a little less rambling here, because it's the 3rd time I've done this. But I also don't know how to do a smooth transition, so I'll see you guys later if you intend to really get an update on this really crazy situation. But it is almost 5 p.m. I have not eaten anything. I've drank water and coffee and just been really kind of busy on the computer, and also in recording this for over 2 hours now. Well, not recording this particular one, but trying to record a voiceover for over 2 hours just to get something decent and workable. So, I'll see you later. Hopefully, or I will say, I'll see you later, particularly if you give me a like, comment, or subscription so that I can actually, see you. Hopefully, I will actually have a video coming. I'll just borrow my friend's smartphone and finagle a video onto my computer and upload that. But don't expect that to be a work of art either. Oh, on the picture that I intend to use here.
Exhausted, and the answer is
I'll have to put that in the description, I guess, because I lost the website that I got the picture off of, so I don't, let's see if I can remember it. It's like Imagery Vietnam or something. I'll put it in the description. Okay, and now I have to sign off because otherwise I'll just keep rambling and I'll waste everyone's time. And I really do gotta eat this food that's sitting here. So, like, I don't know. I'm signing off. Bye.